Yes, it is possible to save money on a low income. There are people out there, you guys, who are not making a lot of money, but they're still managing to save money. They're showing us that there is always a way, and I am a witness of this. So, I grew up in a low income household. My parents were field workers, and together they made around $50,000. Money was always an issue in my household, but they were able to make it a less stressful situation because they were always finding ways to save money. And oftentimes, the ways in which they saved money were really simple. And now that I've grown up, I'm so surprised that a lot of us aren't aware of these basic things that can help us save so much money. I'm going to be sharing with you guys what I consider to be the 13 best ways to save money on a low income. Number one, know exactly where you stand financially and create a budget. It's so important to have a clear understanding of how much money you have coming in and where your money is going before even trying to save. If you live with a partner or split bills with someone, it's important you go over this information together and create a budget together. This allows you both to be on the same page in terms of finances, and just always remember that their income and their spending affects you too. On a piece of paper, you're going to list the following. First, your income. Number two, you're going to list your fixed expenses. So this is like your important expenses that have to be paid no matter what. So this is going to be your rent, this might be your mortgage, this might be a loan payment, this can be your gas, the budget you have for your groceries, etc. And then you're going to list your non-essential expenses. These can be, your subscription to Netflix, maybe your gym membership, maybe your cable bill. It's super important that you list every single little thing you're spending your money on, because sometimes we might not even be aware that we're paying for something. Voila, now that you have a clear understanding of where your money is going to, now you can see where are the areas and where you can spend less. Honestly, if you want to save as much money as possible, I would only set aside money for fixed expenses and save the rest. Most importantly, overall, once you create a budget, make sure that you stick to it. I know it can seem kind of annoying and you might not see the benefits at first, but I promise you in the long run, it's going to help you out financially so much. And honestly, I feel like it just teaches you to be more intentional and disciplined in all aspects of your life. Number two, lower housing expenses. Housing is everyone's largest expense, and the cost of living is only getting more expensive, especially here in California. And it's getting harder and harder to find affordable housing, but you have to keep an open mind and just always be on the lookout for ways to lower your housing. And one way is by possibly downgrading. For instance, if you're living in a 1-bedroom apartment, consider getting a studio. Yes, you're going to have less space, but you're also going to save yourself extra money every single month. And we have to remember that a lot of times these sacrifices that we make aren't permanent. You might also consider moving to a different area of town that is less expensive. This area might be further from like the retail stores and things like that, but if it means you're gonna save yourself a couple $100s a month, I say it's completely worth it. Consider getting a roommate. Having a roommate can lower your rent drastically. It not only benefits you, but it also benefits them. You might also want to consider renting a home or an apartment with multiple people. This isn't always ideal, but again, every couple $100s that you're able to save a month matters a lot in the long term. If you're a family with really low income, you might also want to consider looking to see if you qualify for Section 8 housing. Basically, it's rental assistance for families who have a really low income. Basically, you have to find a private landlord who agrees to rent under this program. It might sound impossible to find somebody who would agree to this, but there is always a chance. Number 3. Sign up for assistance programs you qualify for. Assistance programs can help you save so much money in a lot of different areas, especially when it comes to food. CalFresh can help tremendously with your food budget. I know I was able to get around $300 for my food expenses, and it helped alleviate so much stress for me. No one should be worried about whether or not they're going to have enough money to eat. I personally only used CalFresh, but I know there's all kinds of assistance programs. Some can help you lower your phone service. It can get you a free phone, help with utilities, lower your internet bill, provide you healthcare coverage, and even provide cash aid. If you lost your job, there's also unemployment assistance. Sometimes it can take a while to get this assistance. It's just kind of like a long process and it can feel really overwhelming, but it is definitely worth it. Please don't be shy about receiving assistance. I personally knew people who needed assistance, but were too shy to accept it and instead decided just to suffer. The help that these assistance programs provide can make a huge difference. I remember when my family needed a refrigerator and we couldn't afford one because, in case you didn't know, refrigerators are freaking expensive. We were able to get one for free. And I don't know what program that was because I was super young, but I also remember my parents being able to get like the light bulbs in the house fixed for free, and all because of our low income. And these are things like we wouldn't have been able to afford if it wasn't for these programs. Staying educated on the assistance programs in your area is really important. Take a look at them online, maybe give your social services office a call, ask people around you who are getting assistance, how they did it. Number 4, spend less on food. Groceries are also one of our biggest expenses. And a lot of times we're buying food that we're not even eating. What I see helps the most is only buying food that you need. Cut expensive snacks and also consider cutting out all kinds of sugary drinks. You don't need to buy juice, you don't need to buy soda. All you really need is water. I know that's how I grew up in my household. There was never juice or soda in the refrigerator. We just had water and milk, and it helps you save a lot of money. Buying meat in bulk can also help you save a lot of money. Eating more rice and beans, more pasta can also help you save more money. These items are usually really cheap and also really filling. You might also want to consider going to a grocery store that's less expensive. For instance, the 99-cent store. I like getting my fruit there. The berries there are significantly cheaper than at other grocery stores, and the quality is just as good. You might also consider shopping at Walmart for your groceries. I've noticed Walmart has pretty good pricing. Try to find a grocery store that's affordable in your area. Number 5, find ways to lower your bills. Lower your usage of electricity. I know this gets annoying, make sure to always turn the lights off when you're not using them. But seriously, you guys, it can help you save money. Lower your usage of air conditioning. In the summer, I get it. It's super hot, especially if you live in the Central Valley. I grew up in Fresno, 100-degree weather every day in June. Like, you need the AC on. But if your home is around 80 degrees, you don't need the air conditioner on. Air conditioning is so expensive. And interestingly, the lower you set your AC, the harder it has to work, so the higher your bill is, which I didn't really know. I know growing up, my dad never let me put the AC under 80 degrees. And to a lot of people, 80 degrees sounds kind of hot, but it was actually just fine. You might also consider looking for a cheaper phone bill. I pay, for instance, $25 with Cricket. I know there's a lot of other carriers that are also offering some really affordable plans. Also try to find a Wi-Fi plan that might be less expensive, even if it's slower, because a lot of times we're using Wi-Fi, we're not always at home. So why are you paying for like really good internet? If you have cable TV, just cut it, please. You do not need it. You're probably paying a lot of money for it. Or if you really still want it, call them and try to have them lower the price. Number 6, stop spending on bad habits. A lot of people will do anything to save money besides doing something that's going to be inconvenient for them, like cutting their addictions. If you're serious about saving money, you have to cut your expenses and not spend on alcohol, on cigarettes, gambling, or excessive shopping. Like, all of these things cost you a lot of money. Not only are cutting these expenses good for your wallet, but also for your well-being. Number 7, commit to never buying anything new. And I don't mean this literally, of course, sometimes we do need to buy some things that are new, but at least for me, when I grew up, everything I had was used. Like, my mom on the weekends would go to yard sales, we would go to the swap meet, and anything I needed, she would get it secondhand. I'm talking my backpack, pencils, clothes, even shoes sometimes, as long as they fit me. You don't have to go to these extremes, but basically what I'm saying is, try your best to buy things secondhand. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get the same quality. Sometimes you find things that are almost in new condition, and it just saves you a lot of money. Number 8, wait for deals on things that you need or borrow them. Let me tell you guys a quick story. My parents threw birthday parties for me every single year of my childhood, and we always borrowed everything for it. tables, chairs, speakers, even the cooler. And thanks to this concept of borrowing, my parents never had to spend this crazy amount of money on an event that only happens once a year. You might not need things for a birthday party, but you might want to borrow a lawnmower, for instance. You might be on the lookout for one, but meanwhile, you can borrow your brothers, you can borrow your neighbors. Like, if you really do need to buy something, my recommendation is make sure you try to get a good deal on it. Nowadays, you can do a quick Google search and try to find what store or what website sells whatever you need at the lowest price. Number 9, rent space out in your home. So not everybody has an extra room, but if you do, it is not a bad idea to rent that room out. You might let a family member live there, somebody you know, or maybe you can charge somebody to store their things in there. It's a really easy way to make extra cash. Number 10, challenge yourself to not spend money for periods of time. You can do a challenge to not spend for a week, 2 weeks, or even a month. You're gonna see that you're able to live just fine without buying things constantly. This will guarantee that you save money, or at the very least, it'll break your habit of just buying unnecessary things. Number 11, get a side job. Sometimes there is no other option than getting another job. You can do your best to save money, but the truth is you're making way too little and you need another stream of income. A side hustle or a part-time job can provide you that extra income that you need. You might consider babysitting, dog sitting, or making food. For instance, I know one of my aunts, she's a stay-at-home mom and was trying to find a way to make money, and she started selling food. Like, it's all about knowing what you have to offer. Like, is there a skill that you have that you can profit from? Is there a service that you can offer? If that's not an option, maybe you can consider working a part-time job at a restaurant, maybe during the night shift, or being an Uber driver. Number 12. Once it's in your savings, don't touch it. It sounds obvious, but a lot of people have trouble letting money just sit. Sometimes your brain is your biggest enemy. It'll tell you things like, you know what, you deserve it, take that money out. It's not gonna make a difference anyways, you're gonna stay poor. But you can't listen to your brain. Don't make excuses to justify pulling money from your savings. Remember, every dollar matters, especially when you're on a low income. And lastly, number 13, understand you can't have it all. You can't save money and still go out every single Friday with your friends. It's just reality. When you have a low income and you're trying to save money, there's not a lot of space to be spending money on expensive restaurants, trips, and experiences. Saving money does come at a cost, but you need to remember that you're not really missing out on much. What you can be missing out on is being financially secure, having money, not being stressed out all the time. Saving money on a low income is something that happens gradually. It's not something you're gonna see instantly. Always strive to do the best that you can with the income you've got. It will only benefit you. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys found this video useful. Please comment down below any tips you have for saving money on a low income. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.